AI IDEs are taking the world by the storm. All the enterprises are integrating the AI IDs into the workflows to improve the developer experience and improve the productivity for the employees. So there are tools like Cursor, Windsurf already that are available, and there are CLI tools like Cloud Code, Gemini CLI that have been gaining traction in the recent past. But I want to show you something very, very neat and special today, which is Kiro. Kiro is a very latest AI IDE launched by AWS, Amazon, and it is amazing. The reason why I say it, because I'll show you what I actually built with it and how the whole process looks like. So it takes vibe coding experience to the next level, and it has a lot of very interesting and cool features, and everything is integrated. Like, the developer experience is so intuitive and it looks neat. And this coming out of Amazon is really very interesting because they have worked really hard on the developer experience. Right now, Cairo is in preview. As you can see on the screen, it was available for download, but now due to a lot of people who wants to try out Cairo, it has gone into the join waitlist. So you can join the waitlist, and you can also check out the pricing. So Cairo is free till it is, I think, in the preview. I hope so. And then it is doing the 50 interactions per month. And then also it has a decent plan of $19 per month per user with 1,000 interactions, and then a pro plan of $39 with 3,000 interactions per month. I think fair pricing over here. So Cairo is, in other words, you can say that Cairo is Amazon's answer to Cursor, and it's kind of a Cursor killer. So let's see. I already got the initial version because I was one of the early users. So I have Cairo installed on my desktop. So that's how it looks like. A very cute emoji over here. So that's Cairo for you. And you can see on the left hand side, it has a few things. So it has specs, it has agent hooks, it has agent steering, and it has the MCP servers. It has support for MCP server as well. So what I did was, in my Kubernetes course, so if you haven't seen the Kubernetes course, go check out now. In my Kubernetes course, I had an application that was deployed, and there were 3 games in that application. So there was this tic-tac-toe and snake and rock, paper, scissors. So Cairo is based on the VS Code implementation. So any of your extensions that are there in the VS Code can be imported in Cairo. It also has an integrated terminal. You can start your debugging as well. You have all your extensions. So you have the extension support, which is there. So you can check out all the extensions. It's just like VS Code, but it's the AI native VS Code on steroids. So what I did is I opened up a folder, like I opened up my GitHub project, which was there for the Kubernetes course repository. What I did is I simply went, and this is connected to right now only Cloud Sonnet. So Cloud Sonnet is the LLM that it is trying to talk to, and it's in the autopilot mode. Means I have given it access to kind of edit the files on the fly. This is the terminal. You can create different bunch of shells in the terminal as well. So what happens? I say that, hey, I want to implement a new game. So it has access to my source code. So that's what an AI IDE does for you. It has access to your source code. Based on that, you can plan what you want to do next. So in enterprises also, there is a user story that has a requirement details. Like if there's a requirement document, what you want to do, and then there are acceptance criteria for that requirement document. That's exactly what Cairo does. The first step is it tries to create a specification. I'd be happy to implement a new game. Let me start by creating a spec for this particular feature. It read everything, all the existing files, rock, paper, scissors, tic-tac-toe, and snake.js, and then it creates a requirements.md file. So everything it does is in the .cairo directory. So it creates the .cairo directory, all the things that you create, like the hooks, the design MD, the tasks, everything gets created. So this is the requirement. So it says this feature will add a new interactive game on top of existing game. The platform already includes this, all integrated with user authentication, game statistic tracking. The new game should follow the same pattern. So it understood what is happening. So that's the user story. I want to access a new game from the dashboard, and so that I can enjoy additionally gaming content on the platform. Acceptance criteria, and then requirement two, I play the game and I can have entertaining experience on the platform. And I want my game performance to be tracked so that I can see my progress. So there are different user stories and different acceptance criteria that it got generated. It's same as you create a user story, you give it to your developer. So it's basically you have a junior developer sitting right next to you. You are creating the user story document and giving that to the junior developer, and they start working on it. After that comes the design phase. So when it says that do the requirements look good, the requirements cover dashboard integration, engaging gameplay experience, game statistics, consistent UI UX with the existing games, performance and responsiveness. So I said, yeah, let's proceed with the new game. And great, it now starts creating the design document. So it reads all the existing files and creates a design document. So design document is a step two. So design document outlines the implementation of the new game feature for the existing gaming platform. Based on the analysis of the current architecture, the new game will be memory card matching game, also known as concentration game. This new game provides engaging gameplay. So React component with the front end and with the consistent styling, integration with the existing authentication system, which is there, responsive design with Tailwind CSS, game statistics tracking, and protected routing through the private root component architecture. So it will have the memory game JS, it will update the dashboard.js, it will update the routing configuration in the app.js. Backend integration as well, it needs a new database tables required, that will be done. And then it gives certain components and interfaces. So it also writes the basic interfaces that will be used. Error handling, and then testing the strategy. So unit testing, what should be the test cases, integrated testing, user experience, backend testing, and then it creates 4 phases. And that is the implementation approach. So you can see how detailed it is. It's exactly how a user story goes in. So that's crazy. Now, this particular stuff was done in 5 minutes. Yes, you won't believe, but this particular stuff was done in 5 minutes, and the results are mind blowing. Next comes the task list. The task list is the actual task that starts happening. And when it, so I say looks good, I'll now start the implementation plan. So task top MD, I have created a comprehensive implementation plan with 15 actionable coding tasks. So those are the 15 actionable coding tasks that it has given, like extend the API to support memory stats, update the game service slash user slash score, modify the database query, update response JSON, update app.js slash memory game. So it carefully thought and updated everything. That's amazing. I don't know how many jobs are in danger after this, but this definitely improves the productivity of the current software engineers out there, because now you have the support of the junior engineer sitting right next to you, who actually you can guide through. And yeah, all these plans you can update. You can update the task, you can update the requirements, you can update the design. So right now I didn't do anything because everything was looking good. So it's really good. Let's see what happens next. Yes. So for the spec is now complete, and it starts implementing. So this is the implementation state. It creates the memory game JS file, and you can see that over here, it created the memory game JS file in the front end components, and rest all things are already there. Now, I said, if you go to my current repository, I can show you that. So crash course. You can see the README is normal, and there is no steps for running this locally. So I do not have a startup script or stop script to run this locally. So what I told is, everything is fine. I want to run this locally. And it also gave like how to test. You can do this, but I said currently there is no compose file and anything. Can you please tell me how to run this locally? What it did is it read everything over there and created a local development environment setup, and it created a start local.sh and stop local.sh, which was just amazing, because now I have a start local.sh file that is doing all the heavy lifting. Like, it automatically creates Docker containers for Postgres, automatically creates uh, execs into the Postgres, use the init SQL, creates that, have everything as environment variables, then run it, run different commands like Python, and creates the Python venv. So it gives the entire bash script for running this locally. So you can take all three services running locally. And now if I do /start local.sh in my terminal, boom, it starts to run automatically everything which is there. And I can show you that because it has opened in a different window. So that's how it is. So this is the Game Hub, and you can see that you can sign up. Yeah, we can do that. Live demo 123, live demo 123, successful. Okay. Live demo 123, live demo 123. I log in. Now I log in live demo 123. You can see everything got added. So you have the table that got added. You have here the option of the game that got added. And this is the new game, following the same pattern, following the same UI, following everything same, and it created a new game. How cool is that? Well, this is the game where you have to, match multiple pairs. So like this and this, this and this. So you can match different set widgets there. So like this, it will calculate the moves, and it's a simple game. And then it also created a sh stop local.sh so that it stops all the services. I now I asked it to update the documentation. I haven't read the documentation yet, but it has preserved the existing documentation, and it added a development.md file. So Game Hub development, it has created everything out of the box, how to do this, how to debug this, how to test this. Also, let me just open this up. I created a test local.sh. So I asked, like, can you create some test cases? So let's say I have, here done /start.sh. I go to a different shell and I do /test local. So now it will actually do all the tests. So you can see pass, 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 pass. All the checks are getting passed. All the basic functionality is up and running. This also got generated automatically. Kiro can also connect to MCP servers. So what I did next was I went to the MCP section. So this is the MCP section. You can go and you can have this configuration. So this is the configuration for MCP servers. I went here and I said, can you, like, this is a long chat, but help me how to add Redis as a MCP server. So it started automatically, gave this. Then I said, I want to test this particular thing with a Docker container running in. So right now what I have is Docker PS. I already have a Redis which is running. So I have a Redis which is running. That's what I gave in the URL localhost. And then I said, can you add something to the Redis database? Like, can you create a sample database and add something? So it started automatically, the tool calling, accepted the JSON, accepted the edits. And then I said, can you list the keys? So if I can now also go list get keys from the Redis database. It is tool calling the MCP server. So you can see that's what it is trying to call, and you can see it got the result as well. So that's how it is able to use the MCP as well. Like, you can configure the MCP servers too over here. Again, the password management is not that great. So there should be some mechanism, some way to store the passwords and stuff like that. I believe that would be good. Speed wise, I think it takes too much time in the planning and the thinking phase. So I think speed wise, it's a bit slower than Cursor, but I think very useful. The next thing is agent hooks. So what I created is, I also asked it, it's very interesting. I told like, can you create a proper docs for this repository? Not this one. Yeah. So I asked this creating a hook. Whenever there is a code change, make the updates to the docs. So this hook has been created. It will monitor the code changes across Python, JavaScript, and YAML files and trigger the documentation updates whenever changes are detected. So these are the automated hooks that are created, and you can actually describe it. You can actually do the instructions to the Cairo agent, and you can create multiple hooks. You can set the files paths to watch, and it can create the automatic triggers. So event triggers, a prompt is sent to the agent, Cairo makes the update. So that's how the agent hook kind of works. And you can also guide the agent behavior and responses using the agent steering. So that's in a nutshell what Cairo AI IDE is. I have shown you in action how it works, how it has created a new game. So now I did the git add, git commit of everything that was there. Obviously, I also created a git ignore file that ignores certain files because there is a lot that can be committed over here. So it has to be taken care. And yeah, everything is there in the new repository. So you can check that out. And this is how the development.md that it generated looks like in the GitHub repository, which is looking pretty neat. So that's pretty much it about the Cairo. If you happen to try out, do try out, join the wait list. And I think the AI IDEs are here. And right now it is empowering the engineers. Will it replace? I don't know yet, but it is doing a pretty solid job. Just give what you want to build and it starts building. So the experience is just getting better. The time to market is just getting faster. What do you think about AI IDs? Are you using any AI IDE? Let me know in the comment section and would love to chat more about AI IDEs. Thank you so much for watching. Keep simplify and make sure to subscribe to the channel, like it, and share it with your friends to tell them about AI IDE and are their jobs safe. Thank you. See you in the next one.